Good morning, Columbus. Victor Johnson here with Goodwill Columbus, career facilitator. And we're continuing in our series on ways that you can help your career and for career advancement. Remember that Goodwill Columbus is here for you and that we've got all kinds of resources that can help you with, finding a job, interviewing, the resume, soft skills, all kinds of things. And we have career counselors that are here and ready to help you. So one of the things you can do is schedule an individualized session with one of our counselors just by following this link here down at the bottom of the screen. I'll show that again at the end of this session. Right now, what we're going to do, instead of our regular panel, what we're going to do is talk about the interview by having an interview. And we're going to have Valerie and Brenda. Valerie is going to be interviewing for a position as a facilitator, a career facilitator. And okay, we'll see how it goes, because I think the first one that we have here is with Valerie's evil twin, Val. So let's see how Val does with this interview today.
Okay. Hi, Valerie. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. And you? Good? Yeah.
Don't eat during an interview.
So let's get started on the interview. I know you're short for time, so tell me a little bit about yourself and your work experience and education and how that relates to the career facilitator position.
Yeah. I've worked a lot of jobs.
Okay.
Retail, couple stores. I was at the library for a little while. That I don't like to read that much, so it didn't make a lot of sense to be there.
Okay, her posture is all wrong. She's eating and drinking. Just common courtesy during a meeting or an interview online, you're not going to eat or drink in front of someone, okay? And she's not really giving her attention to Brenda. She's not looking her in the eye, and she's got her hand on her face on her hand, and it's just bad. So let's see if she can redeem herself a little bit more here. Let me get this back in.
But because I've had a lot of jobs, I know what it takes to get one. A lot of people find a job, and I found several. So, I just know that I could coach people on how to get hired.
Okay. So tell me about one of your strengths.
Well, I have a great personality. People love me, I really, I'm funny.
Okay.
That's always good in the workplace. A great way to make relations, build relationships.
Right. So tell me something you'd like to improve.
All right. This was Val's opportunity to talk about her skills and abilities, how she would fit in the workplace, and how she would be a valuable asset in the workplace. Instead, she talked about a personality trait, which I'm not really sure everyone would agree with. So, bad answer, but let's see. We'll just keep going.
Come on.
I'm good.
Okay. All right.
Val, you're not good. Everyone has a weakness, okay? Everyone has something that they should be working on to improve themselves. What you just told Brenda is that you don't really consider your skills and abilities. You're not reflective about them. And that's what they want to know. They want to know, do you have the capacity to learn and improve yourself?
Can you tell me about a time that you had a conflict with a coworker or a supervisor and what you did to resolve that?
Conflicts happen. I've had a few. Let me think of a good one. Good one. There was a time when my boss was, accusing me of doing something that I really didn't do. And, I don't like being accused of things that I know that I did. I mean, okay, so he said I came in 30 minutes late. It wasn't 30 minutes. It was like 20. I mean, I think that people should, relax and understand that things happen. And that's what I explained, He said I was late 30 minutes. I know it wasn't 30 minutes. And what's the big deal? We weren't busy anyway. So,
Okay. So Val just told her she doesn't care about time. She doesn't care about the business. Okay. Being 20 minutes late is as bad as being 1 minute late. It shows that you don't have respect for authority, for your job, for your employer.
that's what I explained to him. And he got all worked up. And so I just said, calm down, calm down. And then, he wrote me up, but I was able to go to HR and tell them a piece of my mind about all the stuff he had been doing.
Okay. Okay. So can you talk to me about why I should hire you for this position?
Well, like I said, I've had a lot of jobs. And if there's anyone who knows anything about getting jobs, I know how to get them. To get them. And so I think I could coach them.
Yeah, you could coach them to get a job, but not to keep a job. And that's what you're telling Brenda right now, that you had a lot of jobs, but you can't keep them. There's all kinds of reasons people might have a lot of jobs. Family, health issues, education, going to school, working for a temp agency. But this doesn't sound like any of those. It just sounds like you got tired of working or where you were working and went to another job.
And tell them all the things that they should say and do in interviews and what they could put on their resume to attract attention to themselves and how to fluff up their resumes. I know how to do that. So I'd be good at this.
Never fluff up. You don't fluff up your resume. Your resume should be truthful and factual. Your interview should be truthful and factual. If you put something dishonest or a lie on your resume, it's grounds for termination when it's discovered, and it will be discovered.
I could do what you do.
Oh, okay. Okay. So do you have any questions for you? Or for me? Sorry, for me.
No.
See, she got Brenda so flustered by her bad answers, she messed up on her question. And then Val says she doesn't have any questions. Excuse me. You never do that in an interview. When they ask you, do you have any questions for me? You should have 2 or 3 questions ready. If you think you might forget them, write them down so that you can remember, because that shows your preparation. It shows your interest in the company and your interest in the position. I'm just going to skip the end here because Val has just done a really horrible job. Let me see if I can see what Valerie did.
None.
So, okay.
So I'm going to change screens here. See if I can get this right here. Okay, let's see how well Val does. I'm sorry, Valerie. It's Valerie's turn.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure meeting you.
You as well. Let's go ahead and get started on the interview. I know that you're short for time. So tell me about yourself, and about your work and your education and how that relates to the career facilitator position.
Okay, I have about 3 years of experience as a facilitator. Prior to facilitating, I was a job coach at a recently closed organization. They ended their business, and that's why I went into facilitating, which was something I always had a passion for doing. I have a bachelor's degree in human resources, so I have an understanding for what it takes to get a job and what recruiters are looking for. So I try to add that into what it is that I teach when facilitating.
Oops.
And last but not least, I'm very passionate about people, and I try my best to be relatable and to meet people where they are. So I try to incorporate all of those aspects in facilitating.
Great answer. Okay, sorry I interrupted it, but it's a great answer. Told her about her skills, her abilities, her education, and her passion, and as they relate to the position that she's applying for. Great answers.
Awesome. Thank you. What do you consider to be one of your strengths?
I think one of my biggest strengths is being able to connect with others and be relatable and meet people where they are. So regardless of what their background is, I try to get a full understanding of who that person is so that I can help them best. I know that one size does not fit all when it comes to job training as well as good job coaching. And so I try to make sure that I'm very mindful and that I'm utilizing great communication skills and listening so that I have a clear understanding of who I'm working with.
Great answer. Okay. Her skills, as she talked about them, her strengths, all related to the position that she's applying for. Great answers.
Okay. What is something you would like to work on, a weakness?
Well, with everything changing so dramatically in the workforce, where things are happening online, I'd like to develop my technical skills even further. So I learn more about Google Classroom and other mediums for connecting and being able to train more online. And then, I'm pretty comfortable with my technical skills overall, but Excel is one area that I would still like to advance in. I feel like I'm always learning and need to learn where Excel is concerned.
Right. Tell me about a time that you had
Great answer. Okay. She's always learning. All right. And remember, she did not use the word weakness, even though Brenda said what you asked her about a weakness. Valerie did not repeat that word weakness because people react to the strongest word in a sentence. So she talked about things that she was working on, things she was interested in working on, showing that she is a lifelong learner and that she has the ability to continue her training and her education.
an issue with a coworker or a supervisor, either one, and how you resolved that conflict.
There was one time when I worked in a store and I realized that a customer had come in and was really upset about something that they had purchased or had been purchased for them, I should say, and they needed to return it. And I realized that when that customer came in, my coworker was assisting them. The coworker became very indignant with the already upset client or customer because he did not have his receipt. He did not have the bag in which the item was purchased in. And so I saw my coworker accusing the person of possibly having stolen the item or had not purchased it there. So to calm matters down, I asked if it would be okay if I stepped in to assist. And I also realized that there is a possibly a way for us to track that transaction if in fact the client had purchased it with a credit card. So I just asked the question, did you happen to purchase this with a credit card or with cash? And sure enough, the gentleman had purchased the item with a credit card. So because I knew how to go back and trace that transaction with that credit card because he had it handy, I was able to see that, yes, this was purchased on the day in which he mentioned, and we were able to resolve it pretty quickly. Now, afterwards, my coworker realized, oh, that was a different way of doing things. And I think that he saw a different way of handling that type of matter if it was to happen again, and to resolve the matter for the customer, which is most important.
3 things here. Absolutely fantastic answer. She was asked a situational question. You know, have you ever, had a difficult customer? That's, you get questions like that sometimes. It's called a situational question. What they're trying to find out is what you did in a difficult situation, not what you would do, but what you actually did in a difficult situation, so they can see how you might react at their workplace. Valerie gave a great answer using the CAR, C-A-R, context, action, result method. She told her what the context of the situation was, guy returning the shoes, her coworker being indignant. She talked about the action she took. She helped her coworker. She talked to the gentleman, listened to him completely, and then tried to figure out a solution. And then R, she resolved the situation. Okay, she knew that if he used a credit card, then she could look up the item electronically, and that would solve the problem. And she did that. So she gave her the context, the action, the result. The result was a positive one. And remember, when you're talking through these or answering these situational questions, you want to have a positive result, okay? Because people remember positives and negatives. You want them to remember positive, okay? And not only was the customer happy, and Valerie showed her skills and abilities by coming up with the idea of looking for it through the credit card, but also her coworker learned something that day. So it was a great story to tell.
Exactly. Tell me why I should hire you.
Well, because I'm very passionate about people, and I think that I have the skills that you're looking for in order to be successful in this role. I love to facilitate, and I love people, and I try my best to be relatable and a problem solver. And so I don't think that you're going to find anyone who's going to be any more passionate or dedicated to do this job.
Perfect answer. When you're talking about what you bring to the job, what distinguishes you from everyone else, it's going to be the passion that you bring. It's going to be your work ethic, your attitude, and also your passion. Your abilities, you may have great abilities, but there may be somebody out there who's even better at the job. But the thing that they can't do is be you. They can't be the person who's so passionate about helping people, the person who's so conscientious about being at work and being there on time. These are the things that you talk about, and Valerie gave an excellent answer for that question.
Okay. Well, thank you. Do you have any questions for me?
Well, I do. I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Would you be able to tell me what the day in the life of a facilitator like this, what would it look like in this role?
Well, it changes every day. The basic responsibilities are work either individually or with groups, assisting people with their job search, making sure their resume is current and up to date and ready to go.
Please remember,
how to
You've got to
interview,
ask questions
those
to
types
show
of
your
things.
interest in the job. And
Right
research
now,
that
we're
you've
doing a
done
lot
for
of
the
things
position.
virtually. So there's a lot of developing new classes and new ways of doing things. It's exciting. There are a lot of changes going on. So anyone who likes change and likes being innovative would find it creative.
Good. Okay. And then would you be able to explain to me what the next steps in this interview process look like?
Sure. We're going to finish interviews up next week. And then the following week, we will contact
Sorry, I didn't mean to stop that.
everyone that we're bringing back for a second interview. Hope to have everything wrapped up by the end of the month.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So that actually answers my last question. So you said the end of the month is when you're thinking you will
Yes.
decision. Okay. All the questions I have.
All right. Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time.
Okay, there you go with a really good answer, or excuse me, question at the end of an interview. Valerie did a great job in her interview, and she found out the information she needed to know about the job. So please remember the things that Valerie did. Don't do the things that Val did. And please also remember that we have all kinds of resources available to you for your career or career advancement. And remember, you can use this link below to schedule an individualized session with Goodwill Columbus Career Counselor, right down here. Okay, so we will see you next time. Have a great Friday and a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.